Hey, coming up on this episode, we're catching up with our buddy Trong, talking about float it, talking about jellyfish, but more importantly, talking about the yeast farmer and how he's using it to improve his health. So stay tuned. Hello, my friends. Welcome back to another episode of the Homebrew Happy Hour. This is the show where we supply the answers to your homebrewing questions and discuss all things related to craft beer and homebrewing. And if you have a question you'd like us to discuss on a future episode, you could go to homebrewhappyhour.com and click on that submit a question link at the top of the page. You could email it to joshua@homebrewhappyhour.com. Even better, call it into 325-305-6107. Leave a message after the beep. I love hearing your voice. It always adds something special to the episode. I am your host, Joshua Stubing. And like I said at the top of the show, I am so excited for this episode because it has been a very long time since I've had my good friend, inventor, innovator, and now health nuts, Mr. Trong Nguyen from homebrewerlab.com. My friend, it is so good to see you. How have you been?
Hey, good. Hi, Josh. Good. I've been doing good. I've been really busy. The beer business has kind of slowed down a bit in the last you know, years or so. So you know this. And I've been pivoting to something I think is I feel really exciting. It's something that I use what I know about home brewing and what the stuff that I make for home brewing to do something I think it's better for me. And I want to share that with you. Basically, I want to use what you covered before, the yeast farmer. This is the yeast farmer's lid that I use it for propagating yeast using microwave and mason jar and my the mother all valves, all the non-metallic lids, so that I can nuke this in the microwave, so that I can sterilize uh, the medium before I grow some yeast. So you know about that. That worked really well. I have many, many people who use that and they're happy with it. And along the way, I figured, well, if I can do that for mason jar in microwave, maybe I can do some other things. So that's something that we're going to talk about.
And I love it. So, and but people don't know, I'm so fortunate in this industry to become friends with people like y'all. You and I talk all the time on the phone. And I want to say it was summer of last year when you hit me up with this, Joshua, I am going to change your life. You weren't talking about like the world, which eventually got to that. You're like, and I took it like, I took it flattering that you would single me out to make me more healthy, but you already have that yeast farmer, and I have a bunch now. But you're like, here's what I'm going to make you healthier, and I'm going to change your life. And I was like, whatever, Trong, okay. And we've been talking about it for months and months, and now you're at this point of ready to. I mean, you were already using this for, like you said, other things that we'll get to. But I'm just so happy to finally have you on because you have been where you stand out to me among any other person in this space is you make solutions based off of the needs you personally run into. If it's like, I have to solve this problem, you don't go on Amazon like lazy me and go, where's the solution? You're like, I will invent it. And that's how the Float It came about. That's how Pitting It Tap came about. That's how the Spunding Valve came about. You're like, there's solutions there, but I can make it better. I've always appreciated that about you. And like you said, we'll get to that and whatnot. Let me get through another record-breaking small talk. I'm going to go as quick as I can. You're no stranger to it. So people watching at youtube.com, up on the screen, you'll see for the month of March, we are doing a Pliny the Elder clone. That is right. You would not believe how complicated this kit is. So it is time to get in at patreon.com/homebrew happy hour. Join a recipe receiving tier. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. I am being kind of strict this month. If you join the every other month, I'm not going to be able to send this out to you. You have to join the every month unless you're already in the every other month and you qualify for it. And mostly just because I'm not lying, guys. This is an extremely complicated kit. A ton of hops, a big old grain bill. I cannot afford to get burned by people who join for the every other month and then they don't keep up with the club. So, or you could just go to patreon.com/homebrew happy hour, find that post and buy the kit outright. That's a new feature that that has been implemented on the Patreon platform. So if you don't want to commit to a monthly club, you can just find that post, hit purchase, boom. One thing, Patreon stopped collecting shipping information for people who buy one-offs. If you buy it that way, DM me your shipping address so that I can make sure this package gets to you. Otherwise, worst case, I'll just have to send you a DM and go, what's your shipping address? But again, patreon.com/homebrew happy hour. Thank you to our sponsors, Cellar Science, Hops Direct, and of course, Monster Brewing Hardware for supporting us and everything we do. And of course, we could not do this without the members at patreon.com/homebrew happy hour, which is my last piece of small talk. Brew Day Live. It's going to be the last Friday of the month, which I don't have a calendar. It's like March 27th. Let's just say it's March 27th at 10 a.m. Central, right here at youtube.com/homebrew happy hour. My pop and I will be brewing this Pliny clone. My pop, Trong, he and I have been brewing together for so long, and we are drowning in beer right now. So we do 10-gallon batches, but he's like, can we just do a 5-gallon, please? We don't drink fast enough. It's a good problem to have for my health, probably. In an episode where we're going to end up talking about my health, yes, I'll say it's probably objectively better that we're not drinking a ton of beer week to week, but we just don't have the space for all these 10-gallon batches anymore. So I got to either start.
Hey, Joshua, why not use the potter brew? You have one, right?
I do. You're right. I could do that, and that would be.
You go 2 gallons, man. It's so easy to brew, and you can sell all the equipment and still brew.
Again, every time Tron and I, legitimately, when we get on the phone, it might be an hour and a half before I realize I've been taking up all his time. But it always will be. I'll say like, Tron, man, this is going on, and you'll be like, I have a solution, and you're the best. And it's always, you sent me a potter brew. I actually make kombucha in it more than not, because it's a perfect size for those batches that I do. And it's just so easy to use and doing things under pressure and whatnot. It really is. I don't see, that's the one thing I think missing. You don't have a potter brew up on that table, but people have seen that episode. It is a phenomenal piece of equipment. But yeah, anyways, wrapping up the small talk, go to patreon.com/homebrew happy hour, join the recipes tier. Come here to youtube.com/homebrew happy hour on March the 27th at 10 a.m. Central. I'm assuming that Friday is the 27th. Let's just say it is. We'll be brewing that live here on the live stream. I am so excited about that. And and I forgot to mention Brewer's Friend. They are a sponsor as well. All of our sponsors that we're bringing in the new year with. We sincerely appreciate you guys. Okay, timer off. That was a pretty quick small talk. I think I got everything I need to get out. Tron, before we go into recap of Yeast Farmer and then how you're using it now for on the breakfast side and metabolic health side of life. Let's talk about the things that people really know you for. How are things going with the floated? Can you even keep them in stock? Everyone online, when they talk about floating dip tubes, either on Reddit or Homebrew Talk or Brewers Friends forums, every single time someone goes, I want a floating dip tube, the first comment, get a floated, you'll not regret it. How are things going with the Floated 2.0?
Let me put it in the way of doing so well with the Chinese copy it. You actually go on eBay and Amazon, you can see they copy exactly everything that I made, and they even copy my pictures and my title. So I have to have Amazon delete all those. And actually, the funny part here is, ever since I posted, I sell more floaters, because my float is more expensive than the regular standard bar float, right? So people think, this is too expensive. And then I see the Chinese copy that's more expensive than I have. So why the hell that they simply see the value of my floater, so I'm selling more.
So they copied you, but then they're trying to make more money.
Right, because, I made here in my garage, at my home, I ship around the world. So I create everything, and they actually bought it and copy every freaking thing.
What on earth?
Well, it's a badge of honor, I guess, to be copied.
It's a bad, yeah. With CM Becker distillants, that happened years ago, where like they would steal the photos, they would steal the keywords, but it was not made in America, not made in Germany and assembled in America, blah blah blah. But
And,
yeah, people, but they always undercut us. That's wild. They copy you, and then they sell it for more. That doesn't.
well, they sell for more because of the tariff and not because of the shipping. And I made it here, so I can always go down. I can beat them on price, but I don't need to because I made in America, man. And I provide support. I have all the part. You have problem, you call me, and everything you got from me. I guarantee it work, or I give you money back, and I can always fix it because I know every freaking thing about what I make.
And you're passionate about it. I've had people in the audience who I direct them to Homebrewer Lab, and they tell me it's so wild. I'll call and it's Trong, and he answers and he troubleshooted me through it. 20 minutes later, he's like, "Oh, I'll just send that out to you. Just pay me for shipping." And it's like, that's incredible. Yeah, that is you're my favorite American, Trong, because like American businessman. You're my favorite.
Okay, well, so let's talk about the stuff that really I'm most passionate about, and I appreciate the opportunity that you allow me to present it to your crowd. But I think that your crowd can benefit from what I have and everything that they already have. Like, for example, they already have the yeast. Many of them have the yeast farmer that use the making to growing yeast, save money and having fun. But now I found a really wonderful solution. Now, let me backtrack a little bit. Uh, like you have the little slideshow that I sent it to
I
you. The
do.
first slide will show three things. And the three things that Americans have, most Americans have. Number one, a mason jar, right? Everybody in their home have mason jar, different size, and the mason jar is so wonderful because it's so inexpensive, it's so versatile, and they use it for generations. And another thing that most American homes have is microwave ovens, right? But a popular those two things are mason jar and microwave oven. You rarely ever see them put together in one sentence. Mason jar never go well with microwave oven. Why is that? Because mason jar have metal lid, and if you cannot mason jar and microwave, you're gonna arc, you're gonna destroy your microwave oven. So as beautiful and wonderful they are, they not work together, but the two things. So I changed that because I made a mason jar with the non-metallic lid, and the metallic lid have to be strong enough to withstand the heat and the pressure. Not only that, I put the mason jar in the microwave with the heat seal. You already know that that's how I did the yeast farmer. And the reason I could do that is because I have a special valve, the little green valve that I invent and patented. I actually have two patents on this thing. The green valve, I call it, is the mother of all valves. It's the pressure regulating valve bidirectional, which means I can seal this jar, put in a microwave with water, I heat it up, and it keep it from explosion because it release the pressure as over certain threshold. But when it cool, the vacuum will develop, and unless you have a valve that regulate the vacuum, you're gonna have implosion, which means that you cannot open the lid or you destroy the lid because the vacuum is so strong. With the mother or valve, you can control the heating and the cooling cycle at the same time. Now, using that principle, I figure, let's backtrack a little bit. About a year ago, my doctor told me, Trong, your cholesterol getting really bad. You're about to go, you are pre-diabetic because your A1C is 5.8, 5.9. I mean, you better start doing something because at your age, you're going to have some trouble. And I really didn't want to go on that. So I started being an inventor and a scientist. I did some research and I said, well, there are ways to go around it. And, and that not just having to take medicine. And the problem that the doctor told me was, generally speaking, is under the title of metabolic syndrome. It's something that's maybe you see it on the slides that 1/3 of Americans have this problem. What that belly fat, diabetic, high cholesterol level in the blood, high blood pressure, uh, overweight, those are the general form of that is called a metabolic health syndrome. And 1/3 of Americans, which is like 80 million or
A
so, have
lot of
that
people.
problem.
Yep.
And because of that, you heard the term Ozempic, Wegovy, and Zepbound. They've been selling these things by the billion of dollars because they're very effective in solving that problem, especially um, the diabetic situations and the obesity, because they're very good for weight control. And why is that work? Because the the key features of these drugs, and also the same thing with my solution, is the hormone called GLP-1. Many of you probably heard it by now because you heard about it every day. GLP-1 is a wonderful hormone that produced in our guts, in our low small intestine and the most of our gut. And another enzyme, not a hormone, is PYY. Not is popular yet, but two of them are work together, GLP-1 and PYY. Now, our system, our body, have a way to produce GLP-1 naturally. Every time we eat food, it go through our guts, it go through intestines, our gut. Our bodies recognize the food and turn GLP-1 to regulate the metabolism of of the food that we eat. And the trouble is, the way nature designs so that the GLP-1 will produce and only last 4 minutes. The half life of GLP-1 and BYY is only a few minutes because we produce it, we use it, and we destroy it because otherwise the system will go out of whack, right? So pharmaceutical company come up, they realize that the London GLP-1 is really good, and they know that they have to figure out some way that people don't have to take it every 10 minutes. So they figure out, they modify the hormone so that they can inject it once a week, which means that your body has GLP-1 consistently for the whole week until you shoot it again the next time. It's actually worked really, really well. People losing weight, and unfortunately, people could afford it because this sucker costs like $1,000 a month. if you if you want to use that, unless you get some subsidy in sort of way, it works great. Rich people have it. Company makes a lot of money. They actually produce different version of it to make money because the world needs this thing. Like 80 million people. The problem here is beside cost, it also have terrible side effects. You can see if your body, your level GLP-1 is supposed to last a minute, that stay in your body consistently 24 hours a day, something bad can happen, right? And nauseating, uh, people have terrible headaches, terrible headache, mostly for older people. They can stay there for a month or two and then go off the track because it's just too hard to stay on besides the cost. Now, the trouble is if you stop taking the GLP-1 or this Ozempic, you're gonna gain the weight back right away. So it's not a good thing. So I didn't want to do that, and I don't have $1,000 a month, to spend on it. So I engineer my way out of it. And it's like, well, if we can make that stuff, why don't we just make that stuff? And it turned out there's a really cool way to make that stuff, and and the science is really there, and the way to make that is really inexpensive and easy, especially with my invention. So, what are the stuff that we need? Everything we eat create GLP-1, but certain things do better, more efficient than other. Number one is steel cut oatmeal, fibers. Fiber is the key thing because when we eat something like fiber, it goes through our system, it becomes prebiotic, which means it goes straight to our gut and feed our gut microbiome so that we don't convert them into sugar right away. Because if you have sugar spike and then you get hungry after an hour or so. So what we want to do is create fiber that can go through past your small intestine, go to the large intestines. And steel cut oatmeal are perfect for that. If you do one more thing, on its own, it's very good at prebiotic. But if you can cook it and cool it so that you convert the starch, the digestible starch, into resistant starch. The resistant starch are the starch that the microbiome that cannot digest in the small intestine, it go into your gut. And in the gut, it feed the bacteria in the gut that fermented. We know we homebrew, we know that how fermentation happens, right? But it takes time. The the good bugs in our gut convert the resistant starch into short chain fatty acids. And the fatty acid trigger the L cell lining of our gut to produce GLP-1. And that process is slow. It doesn't happen immediately. It happens in hours. So in the process of hours, it continues to produce GLP-1. The short chain fatty acid will trigger the cell to continue to release the GLP-1 gradually. So what does the GLP-1? It's going to go to your pancreas. It's trigger your pancreas to produce insulin so that you can stabilize and neutralize metabolize your blood glucose to bring it down. And number two, it sends signal to your brain that say that you're full. You full, don't eat anymore, right? So those two things that happen, that's how you lose weight because you don't feel hungry. That what that why GLP-1 works for weight control, and that process takes a long time, for hours. What's so cool about that is not what you eat, but when you eat it, right? The best time to eat all these things are in the morning. Everybody know that because after at breakfast, after breaking the fast, I call that the name breakfast for. If in the overnight fast, your body is hungry, ready to absorb things. And whatever happened in the morning, it has affected the rest of your day. And because the digestion happened, the GLP-1 production by your in the microbiome slowly, it lasts for hours. It's gonna have the effect at lunchtime. This in science we call it the second meal effect. You eat the first meal, go through your digestion system, it prep your body to prepare for the second meal hour later. So if when you eat your lunch later, if you eat bad stuff at your lunch later, your body is ready to tackle it. So and it's so okay. Still got you know by now you can pass it. Whatever I tell you right now, you know, because of in the age of AI, you can go and Google. You go to Gemini, ChatGPT, and ask about it, and they will tell you that what I say is true, not bullshit. Okay? So
I love it.
yeah,
Check me. Go ahead. Check me.
yeah, yeah. And actually, we can have some prompt. I already read up some prompt in form of a QR code. Your audience can scan it or can type it in and ask any chatbot about what I'm talking about. So let's save me time and get me in trouble with the FDA. You know.
I have it. I have the QR code on the screen, and I mean with the whole slide you sent me, that prompt. But like you said, if you scan that QR code, it'll autofill the prompt for you. And but yeah, like well, that's what I adding on to what I said at the beginning about you. Whenever you call me, like people love you on the show because your enthusiasm, how passionate you are. And I tell people too, you never do anything without doing your homework first. Like you know, some people, I'll raise my hand. I can sometimes be impulsive and be like, here's why I do it because it feels good. And you're like, no, here's why I do it. All these you're sending me. I'll put them briefly on the screen. I have all these graphs and charts that you've sent me of the data from the inverse correlation of the metabolic metrics and lipid panel trends, and it's you went out of your way to convince me when you already had me convinced because I trust you, Tron.
Yeah, no, but this is so wonderful though, because everything that you know, you work with me long enough. I know everything I make are very simple. It's basic, elemental, and it works. I call that stuff, I call my technology is Ho Chi Minh Trail technology. That's how we that's how we got the war in Vietnam by just bicycle and bamboo through the Ho Chi Minh Trail. So we get the job done with minimal stuff, and we can do that everywhere in our own kitchen too. So this is the basics. So here, the cool thing is, in order to do this, the GLP-1 and the PPY thing to benefit our health, and also give us breakfast. I mean, if it doesn't work for you, heck, it's not something you shoot in your belly. It's your breakfast, and you feel really good when you eat breakfast. And that breakfast is cheap, and this only takes 2 minutes to make. It's not like you. So I'm going to show you how to make it tonight. Right now, this is example of the 2 jar that I made. That the night before. It takes literally no time to make at all. And I'll show you now. And in the morning when I get up, I go down. And every member of my family have this jar. There are 2 jars. See, I haven't eaten this one yet because I want to use it to show you. But uh, and I'm feeling a little uneasy right now because I haven't had my breakfast. This is the first time that I haven't had this breakfast in the last 8 or 9 months. Like every morning, I actually have this thing. Every member of my family have that, and most of my neighbors have this. So we know that it works, and because it's so easy, and it's really really tasty. But I'm pretty excited to talk about it. So steel cut oatmeal, right? We have it's easy to buy. You can go, better get organic steel cut oatmeal, not roll up, but steel cut, right? And and then the other part I usually use is almond milk. I have this almond milk, and I don't want to use dairy milk because dairy milk has protein in it, and when you cook it in the microwave, it foams too much. It's like it's trying to make cappuccino. Like with the foam in cappuccino. If you want milk, you can add it on when you eat. Not when you cook it. So I use the almond milk, and just to tell you, how crazy I am, and it works because I used to buy almond milk, because I use a lot of things, and with member of a family, I actually have to buy this carton because I want to use this for the show. But normally we have to buy the thing in a big jug, half-gallon jug, plastic jug, and every week or so we have to throw out this jug, and I say, wow, this is crazy. Being a leftover hippie, I really don't want to do anything bad for the environment. So maybe there's a better way that I can do this without using plastic. It turned out, and I try. You see, okay, I read the recipe, what it was in almond milk. Almond milk made with the dried up almond, and then they filtered it, and then they sell you almond milk. You say, well, what happened if I make my own almond milk? I buy almond, and of course, people you on the YouTube and I show you how to do that. And look at that, okay, I could do that. But how about using something that already ground up, like almond flour? If I buy almond flour, and I can do a teaspoon of almond flour, and I add water to it. It's got an almond milk. I'm going to eat the whole thing anyway. I'm not going to drinking it, so it's the little a little solid from the almond flour doesn't bother me. and it works. So, so it also save money, saving time, and when you water, this is the almond flour that I use. So that's that's just another part of the process. You can't have it. When you're an inventor, you are, you should want to push the envelope, right?
I
So,
love it. You're like I've said before, and people, if they're new to you, they're gonna start loving you already. But people who know you, that's not surprising. Like, oh, he made his own almond milk. Of course he did. That's
and so, but it worked for this this thing. And right now, I also my job is to find organic almond flours, because when we do all this for our health, why might well to go all the way, get something organic so don't get into our body in the future. I hope I can do something with so that I don't take microplastic. I think I could want to grow my vegetable and get water the vegetable without microplastic so that I don't eat microplastic. But that's another story. I'm sure I come back with a solution for that someday. Yeah. Right. No. So steel cut oats, um, almond milk. We solved that problem, and then the third component. This is a breakthrough. This is it's such a simple. This is a breakthrough. It's extra virgin olive oil. You heard about it. The Mediterranean diet. People eat all extra virgin olive oil, and they're healthy. The whole population is much better than we do. Uh, and people said that if you can take 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil every day, it will be good for you. In fact, a couple of years ago, Starbucks, Howard Shaw from Starbucks even have a program to add extra virgin olive oil in their coffee, and they call it oleato. And they sell in Italy, they sell in America, but it didn't work so well. So that last year in late 2023, I think they pulled it off in the US, but they still sell it. It's still selling it in Japan, in Italy, and in Singapore. And he got the right idea because he worked for him. The only trouble with that process is that to add olive oil in coffee in the morning is not something that your body is ready to take.
right.
His downfall with the carrier. He needs something better to carry that oil, and I have the solution for that. How if you listen, watch this video. So steel cut oatmeal, it turned out to be perfect for olive oil. I call it the perfect union because the resistant starch in the steel cut oatmeal I produce and add olive oil to it in the morning. It's just like it's amplified the benefit, and I can explain that to you later with some graph and chart and anatomical diagram that I'm sure you can show your audience, right? And just to see why it works. So extra virgin olive oil were good, but and then we already know that, right? We know that through data, through history, through science, and everything. But then here is a practical thing of extra virgin olive oil. Number one, it's expensive. Number two, if you don't know what you're getting, you get the fake stuff. So you need to know what kind of olive oil you have, and not olive oil the same. You need olive oil not for making salad dressing. You make olive oil for therapeutic purpose. So you want to make to have the best olive oil that you have. Mostly the real one, the 100%, not fake stuff. Number two, it should have high polyphenols, which is the reason why olive oil is so good because of the antioxidant polyphenols antioxidant it's got. And another thing it has a monounsaturated fat, which the wonderful thing for you, it's a good healthy fat. It's actually improve your HDL in your blood. So olive oil good. You need to know what the hell you're getting, and you want to protect it because of the antioxidant, which means it's very good antioxidant. You take it so that when you take it in your body, it's neutralize any free radicals that your body have.
Yep.
And the free radical is so reactive, it damages your enzyme, damage your DNA, and those damages could lead to mutations and other bad things to your system. So that's why the olive oil is good, because it neutralizes free radical. The problem then because it's such good polyphenols. So every time you have, this is a bottle of olive oil. Typically, have a bottle of olive oil. When bottle use it, you open it, you turn it, you pour. When you pour, the olive go out, air go in, and also not air go in, but air go in at a turbulent fashion. So you incorporate the air into the oil, and the polyphenol in the oil neutralize the oxygen and turn itself into free radical. So every morning, if you want to do this, like the way we do it, I have to do the 3-4 members of my family. I have to pour this sucker 4 times. And after a couple of months, my bottle of olive oil would be full of free radical, really poisonous to my system. So that's no good, right? And also, I pour 1 tablespoon of olive oil every time. It's a pain in the ass to pour 1 tablespoon of olive oil every time, because then I have to wipe up my spoon. I have to wipe up the dripping on my thing. So I have to, being a home brewer, I have to, we got to figure out some way better than that. So, in home brew, people will have beer growler, and we use beer growler with pressurizer with CO2 gas. I say, hey, I can use just a regular growler, like half a gallon growler to store my olive oil, and I use CO2 gas to push the olive oil out, and I don't have to force carb my beer, so I can use maybe 2 or 3 psi instead of 15 psi, right? And CO2 gas, I have regulator and everything. So the only thing now I needed to get a tap, the right tap, so that it doesn't drip, because olive oil drip. But I already have the tap. I have my picnic tap. So here it is. So here I get the and uh, and if you can look here, I have 10 versions of this, what I call the Oliver, because I use the UK, I use the trail cake, I use any kind of freaking cake that I get my hand on to see how they work.
Mm-hmm.
And my favorite Oliver now is this one. And the reason is, first of all, I can adapt my picnic tap here. That doesn't drip. This Oliver does not see air. My olive oil good in here doesn't see air, doesn't see light. It's actually insulated, so I can put right next. My wife can put right next to her stove and doesn't heat up the thing, because the fourth thing bad for olive oil is oxygen, heat, life, and then time. Yeah, the longer you keep, the worse it gets. Right. So this thing will protect those things, and it doesn't drip. So every morning you want to do, you open this, and you put a pressure regulator on the outside instead of inside on the UK, because thing happen to the regulator inside, and you have to open it, and it doesn't use screw time, because it gets stuck. Yeah, if you do thing and it gets stuck, and it's really hard to open, something like that, you have to grab hold of it and try to do it. It's not easy, and it's also expensive. And they have the side rack with light to go through, so I have to cover the sun. So that the UK was my first choice, but it turned out to be not a good application. Besides, pretty expensive. Right? And it leaks. They have so many points it leaks. So this one is, I put a regulator outside. I roll the pressure for 2 psi, so 1 16-gram cartridge lasts, a long time if it doesn't leak. And this is the olive that I use every morning. There's an example. I get up in the morning. I put this. It at room temperature, so I will need to warm it up a little bit. Right? So put it here. I warm it up for maybe 30 seconds. Depending on. Okay, so I do that while I go make my coffee, right? So then when it's done, I take it out.
I want to say real quick too. I love the fact that we're showing them how to make it, but you're like, oh, by the way, for the olive oil, here's this other thing that I completely over-engineered, but it's like, I love, like, it sits on my, like, you find a solution. I love it.
And it really, olive oil, the really good thing are not cheap. It costs
Yeah.
like 10, 20, or $50 a liter. No, actually $100 a liter. The Ver Green, or you go to Amazon, look at Ver Green olive oil, drinking olive oil. They're over $100 a liter. So you want to protect that thing,
Yep.
right? So now I warm it up, right? So I open my gear and I just put in one roughly 1 tablespoon of olive oil, and I scrape up the thing so remove any hanging drop. There you go. So now I hear. So now another magical thing that we should have is chia seed. Chia seed is just wonderful, inexpensive, and the best thing that you can eat. If you read the BBC like 2, 3 weeks ago, the list, the 6 things that you should eat more of, and one of it is chia seed, because the chia seed, actually that was stupid of me. I'm sorry. The chia seeds are so inexpensive and they're so healthy, because when it go in water, the mucilage, the gel that form around it is actually very good fibers. It goes through your system. It slows your digestion. It absorbs, you know, it absorbs bathing in it reduce your uh, HDLDL, and they keep make you full because it's swelling up inside your gut to make you full. So you would 1 tablespoon, and this is also a little thing too. For a long time, I want to add still seed, but I thought that's chia seed. When you want to use it, you have to kind of turn it into a pudding. You have to add water, wait a few hours in the refrigerator before it swell up, before you put it in. But one of my customers says, Tron, I put chia seed directly in this thing, and then I stir it up, right? And now I add cinnamon and a whole bunch of other spices that are really good for you. The spices like the cinnamon, the turmeric, the black pepper, the ginger, and the cumin, all those things are really, really healthy for you because it keep you. It, many of them are good antioxidants, and also many of them can tame, stamp down your inflammation in your system, and very healthy. So add this now. So I don't know if you can see it, but the way that I have my oatmeal, they're not mushy, they're plump. It's and I will explain that to you why it is so. It's actually unique. You cannot have secret oatmeal any other way, make any other way with this. And in fact, I'm going to go to Scotland in October to enter into the international oatmeal cooking. They call it international porridge making contest, and I will win. I'm gonna blow them out of water because I cook this thing in 2 minutes, right? And I use science to do it. So actually plum individually, it's like risotto, it's like rice pudding, and they have nice al dente texture, right? And when I add extra virgin olive oil to it, it is wonderful. It's like a nice base. I can add anything to it, right? Like normally I can put jam. I put a little jam on it. Like this is orange jam. I have to get a clean spoon for this. Otherwise, my wife be mad at me. So get a spoon of jam to it, and then I fill it up. And I can put, depending on what day, I change it every day. Some day I have avocado, some day I have roasted almonds, some day I have leftovers, spaghetti sauce from the night before. I put them here because it's good for sweet and savory. Sometimes I have a hard boiled egg, I chop it up, I throw it in there, and it works wonderful because it's so neutral. It like tortilla. You can add anything to it, right? You wrap it up. It's like
Well,
a piece of toast.
and one thing I want to say too, because I haven't been doing it every day, and I told you after this episode I'm going to commit because I think we're all a little worried about my personal health. Maybe some people have noticed the double chin coming in, but I just want to recap real quick because you're doing it the night before is the initial cooking. You're doing the quarter cup of oats, a teaspoon of your well, if you're making your,
No,
go ahead.
you do that before you eat. When you cook, you only cook with olive oil. No, you cook with almond, still cut oat and water.
Right, right. So yeah, so the night before in the jar, and this is a much larger jar, but you're doing a quarter cup of oats, and you're filling up the thing with your water or your almond milk to the 6 ounce mark on your jar, and then 2 minutes in the microwave, and then you take it out, let it cool for 5 minutes, let it cool for
No, let's go overnight.
So I don't have to put it back in until the morning when I reheat it.
Right.
Gotcha.
That's the magical, because to hear the thing, in order to cook stews, cut oat, you need two things. Most people don't realize you need heat and you need time. Because the oat, the the, the starch structure require time to expand and gelatinize and all that. You can give it as much heat as you want, but you still need time. So a lot of people don't realize it. So they have to put the sugar in the pot and they just stir it and let it cook simmering it for 20 minutes, 30 minutes. The fact is they don't need that cook that long. If they give it enough heat and they can trap the heat in the sealed jar the way I do, you only need to 2 minutes or whatever it takes, depending on your microwave power level. You don't want to boil it and you want to sear it. Here is the magical thing with the nooker. This thing called a nooker because nooker is Noker, because we nook it in a microwave. They call it a nooker, right?
Yeah.
Right. So the thing here is, this is actually, if you tried it, you will love it. I have over 100 people across the world try this thing like early adopter, and they all stay with it. They all love it. And I have several home brewers actually join it. I have my customer from Florida. His name is Adam. He's probably going to hear it from me when I watch the show, because this is one of his favorite shows. And he actually he came to Sacramento like 2 weeks ago, and he went, "Hey, I want to come by and see you," because he bought a lot of things for me. And he came out and he said that he'd been using this oatmeal, like he got it like just 2 weeks before that, and he'd been using it. He take it with you. He carried it with him wherever he goes.
I love it. Is that Adam the pilot from Florida? Is that
yeah. The Adam Reynolds.
Yeah. Oh man.
You know Adam?
Oh yeah. He actually, man, he's like what's that Polish beer? I mean, I'm going to butcher the name of it because I can't pronounce stuff, and I just blame my impediment. But yeah, he's actually going to come on the show at some point in the future. He flies around all over, and he's going to come to Austin, and he wants to talk about. Yeah, he's like a prominent brewer for this certain style.
Yeah, he's the president of his homebrew club in Florida.
Yeah, Adam's a good guy.
Yeah, I had some of his member call me the other week, and I told him, "Oh, I heard of Adam. Just drop by and see you." Adam.
So okay. So again, just humor me, because on the linear scale of Ponstum, then Neanderthal, then Einstein, I'm between Ponstum and Neanderthal. So I cook it at the night before for the quarter cup of oats with the water mark up to the 6 ounce mark. I cook it, and then do you recommend countertop overnight or immediate to the fridge?
No, you literally leave on the countertop, because here you have a sealed jar that have been pasteurized, right? And the key thing is you want to leave it outside because you want to use the trap resisting the trap residual heat to cook. And during that cook, magic thing happen. See, when you boil, the thing pressure build up, the release, the mother valve lets the excess gas pressure out so it don't blow up, right? And when it cool, it create a vacuum. What happened to the vacuum is when the vacuum build up and the temperature cool down, boiling happen at lower temperature under vacuum. So the boiling continue. The swirling and the boiling inside continue for like 20 minutes uh, until they all cook and absorb all the moisture. So what's good at that process? Because it lit on the oat granule up, allow the oat granule to absorb moisture and cook evenly so they don't stick together.
Yeah.
And in the morning, you have this nice, plum, chewy, al dente oat that you cannot have any other way, right? And that's how I'm going to win the golden turtle in, in Scotland, right? So, because there's no other way to cook it this way. And it's so good. Well, now you add extra virgin olive oil, it's like, it tastes like risotto. And then that's just the way and the texture. Now you add all the your favorite thing on that. You can you can add Greek yogurt, you can add banana, you can add fruits, you get whatever you can do that so you don't get bored and you can eat it every morning. And many of my customers, my fans actually look forward to have breakfast in the morning because and then the wonderful thing is, and you know that when you eat this thing your morning is so calm because you don't feel hungry. You don't have food noise in your head that you're gonna eat something because it's the GLP-1 that produce and the PYY hormone produce send signal to your brain that you're full. The chia seeds kind of keep your intestine full. Pressure intestine make you have the sense of fullness, and then everything wonderful happen. If you have any irregularity problem, he gonna help you solve that very nicely. So you and the whole freaking thing costs like $1.
That's where you want when you first talked. So I feel like you've been talking about this with me for since about the summer, but then in October or November, you sent me a bunch of these lids so that I could have one for every member of my family to do it. And I made it for my kids, and they like it. And what I didn't think about though is like what you're talking about, the versatility of extra ingredients when it's time to eat. Because Sean, again, I don't give me any credit. I'm not a smart person. I just kept making it the same way. And my children will be like, I don't want that again. But like you said, hey, tomorrow it could be savory. It doesn't have to be. And the next day it could have blueberries in it. And it is very versatile. And it doesn't have to be the same exact thing every day. Yeah.
Yeah, you can put because that's what you enjoy. The enjoyment is a topping, and you want to put healthy topping. I mean, you don't want to put ice cream on it, but but you if you can if you want.
Yeah.
Like you put Greek yogurt, you can put whatever.
Yep.
Like and sometimes I get bored. I eat this. I have eat with fried egg with it. Along with a fried egg, and I put some Maggi sauce in there. Some other time I have something in the refrigerator, and I put some little tiny piece of anchovy in there, and it tastes wonderful because it's neutral.
Yep.
So that's wonderful. I'm go crazy when I talk about this stuff. Not only that, because it's so fun, it's so approachable. It's something that everybody have. They have an amazing job. They have microwave, and they probably have MS, metabolic syndrome. So they
Yeah.
have all the three things, and we can put all those three things together to put it work for you and give you breakfast. You can grab this. If you have to work, you in the morning you grab it, you take it to work,
Yep.
and at work you put it in the microwave, you look and you put some other thing to it, you eat it, or you can feel that you can eat in your car.
That's
I
right.
mean, you can't beat it. It's cheaper than going and make breakfast at McDonald's, you know,
Yeah.
and and it's a lot healthier
And
for
again, and
you.
I can't stress this enough because I know, our audience, dozens of people listen, Tron, dozens of people. But there will be one who will be like, "Oh my God, what does this have to do with homebrewing?" Well, people don't realize what I love, and I think now that I've kind of got full control over Homebrew Happy Hour, homebrewing's not just beer. Homebrewing is not just fermentation. Homebrewing, for my whole understand, my original introduction to homebrewing was people modifying video game consoles to play illegal games. Like that was the original homebrew that I knew. And then homebrew, I have friends that play, don't judge me, they are my friends, Dungeons and Dragons, and homebrew meant they're doing their own rules. Homebrew is such this big umbrella for people who create and get their hands involved. And like cooking is one of the original homebrewing things. Being able to tinker, being able to dial in a recipe, being able to, it's so symbiotic with how I live my life, where I find myself homebrewing in all facets of things, not just when I'm making a batch of beer, where overnight oats in this way is an extremely straightforward and simple example of what homebrewing can be. And again, I can't stress enough, you won me at cheap. What the lids, I think on your website, Homebrewer Lab, they're $15. A mason jar, wide mouth, it has to be a wide mouth, mason jar. I bet an 8-pack on Amazon is probably $20. Let's round up to $20 or less. Oats, steel cut oats are cheap. Like I haven't done the math. You could correct me. A serving per person for breakfast, I can't even imagine it's $1.50. I'll round up. Is it $2?
Including topping, the topping is the most expensive one. They actually the most expensive is the olive oil.
Right, yeah, but even when you do the math, what is the average per serving? It's under $2, right?
Way under $2.
Yeah.
Like to me, the best extra virgin olive oil, 15 milliliter, which is 1 tablespoon, is the three thing add together less than $1. Now, if you add berry, you got acai berry, you got whatever you put on top, and I cannot control that. That's so it's way under $2. But it's very, very healthy. And when you use it, you do it, it become a routine. It's a ritual that you will keep because you will feel better. Now you will feel if you continue long enough until you get your doctor appointment and take your blood panel test, and you're gonna be wow. Your doctor will be so surprised. Hey, Trong, how did you do that? You actually bring, and I have the graph to show that. And my doctor, like it so much, he says, "Hey, I want to do this too."
You're a way better salesman than me. I know it. Like you literally, like I could just imagine you in the doctor's office and being like, "Here's how I did it." And by the way, here's a sample out of your back pocket, a mason jar full of overnight oats.
The funny now with the healthcare system today, they want to save all the money, right? So I go on there and do the blood test, and I say, they only allow me to do the blood test once a year. So say, "Man, you told me that I had to go on Lipitor and all the things, so I find a way to do that, but I need to check it. So in order for you to make sure it's on track, I need to test more often." And now they allow me to do the test every 12 weeks. So that's why I have more data. Every 12 weeks now I can go in there and get my blood sample and measure my metabolic panel, which is the cholesterol and the A1C and so on and so forth. And you know, I really encourage. I can talk about this all day long. I mean, I feel like many of my friends call me, "Troy, you sound like a Bernie Sanders of breakfast." Because I go around and tell people, "You are democratize healthcare. You actually give people something that healthy and good. And I just love it. I wanted to. Now talking about doing homebrew, I use homebrew. I have a growler for Oliver, and I use this is an example. This I preserved lemon with the mason jar and my lid, and then the valve. Why is the valve important for this? Because after I put on the fruit in, I put I have something that called submerger to keep everything submerged, and then I have a vacuum. I vacuum this out. I suck all the air out so that I never have calm yeast on it, and all my lacto fermentation come perfect because it never has any air. And I have we love chili, and we make chili from lacto fermented preserved chili. Like, I know this thing has been there for a long time, and it's still good. I don't know if you see the submergers that keep everything below, because very important when you lacto fermentation have everything has to be submerged, and I have to submerge thing in here, and I put the lid, and then I can vacuum it. With the lid, I can suck all the air. You don't know when you vacuum, you'll be amazed how much air come out of the vegetable, especially children. They're full of air. So you when you suck it, the air come out. And why getting air, get rid of oxygen is important, because yeast can grow on oxygen, but lactobacillus cannot. So if you take all the air out, the yeast cannot grow, so lactobacillus win. So therefore, you don't have this calm yeast sitting on the floating thing on top when you do lacto fermentation. So there's an example, and another example I have is I had this really super hot habanero chili that been in here like 2 years, and that still look really good. And actually, this yeast farmer I want to do this is like almost a year ago, and I've made it. I want to sit it on the counter just to see how well it lasts. It still lasts. Nothing crazy grow in it because and because I had the 0.22 micron syringe filter on it, and that thing sealed really well. So it's everything that we do, we use what existing and make it work.
That's right. And again, to bring it all back to, if people are in like, I wanted you to talk about beer. This is a $15 thing for harvesting yeast. We had an episode already. I'll put it in the show notes. That's why I didn't harp on the lid's purpose of harvesting yeast, because we've done that episode. But this is a tool a person who makes beer at home should have, if you don't have a yeast sponsor like me and you get fresh yeast shipped to you every month. Like, if you're trying to make your dollar last, especially with liquid yeast, right? That's not cheap. So you do a batch, you wash the yeast. We have a whole episode on it. This lid, I guess the main reason I was open to the idea of you talking about this for the health thing. Well, one, you were so concerned about my health, and I'm flattered. But also, just because it is home brewing using a tool that is not outrageously expensive, where a lot of people, like you said, the alternative is extremely expensive drugs that aren't addressing the actual issue. It's just dealing with the symptoms of the issue. And I'm 40 years old, pre-diabetic. I'm always pre-diabetic, but my cholesterol is actually fine. But if the result, or let's just say hypothetically, my doctor's like, hey man, I'm going to get you on some GLP-1 type of peptide. That's a lifelong decision. Or when I'm too cheap to stay on those drugs, I'm going to go right back into what I'm doing. I'm going to, the weight will come back. And like you said, it's just not sustainable, where people can try this for their breakfast, where they can see the results. And if you're a home brewer and you're like, I don't want to do that anymore, you're going to harvest your yeast with it. That's why I was like, yeah, let's talk about that again, because the lid is just so versatile. It's a very impressive. I'm always impressed every time you call me. I'm like, what has he invented this time? And sure enough, you've been giving me this spiel about the overnight oat stain. So for the rest of this month, I told you I'm committed. I'm going to do it every day. And
I send you the lid so that you can have your whole family do it.
That's right.
Have your kid eat it and make it tasty.
You did.
You know?
Yep. You did. And I have to confess to people online who are watching, he sent these to me, guys. He's that passionate about it, for my kids to be involved too. Cause I was like, oh yeah, Trong, I'll make it for me. And you're like, no, the whole family. I was like, you're like, what's your address again? I'm sending them. Like, So
Yeah.
I've got a ton of nukers, these lids, all now ready to go. And I got the 16-ounce wide mouth jars that arrived a couple days ago, so that we had plenty. I have a bunch of 30. I don't know why I bought the 32 ounces. Maybe at one point I thought I'd get into pickling. I don't know.
No. You probably got it for the yeast farmer.
It
For
was
the,
originally for the yeast farmer, but you don't need a 32-ounce one. A 16 ounce is perfect for this overnight oat. And the recipe,
and
like
this is calculate exactly because it's a quarter of a cup of tea. Actually, let's make one so that everyone see one. All right, see how fast it is to make. So every night after dinner, preferentially, but while you're in the kitchen, get your 16-ounce mason jar out, right? And then put the 1/4 cup of steel cut here, right? Now, if you cheap like me, you will put in a teaspoon of uh, almond flour, but let's not do it this time so that you can see the boiling actions. I need some water. So where's my little water? Oh, here it is. So you put the water now in here to the 6 ounce mark like that, and you put the lid. Make sure the gasket with the groove side up, and you push the gasket in, right? And this gasket works really well. The reason you have the groove side up, so when it hit the jar sealer, it create a seal like have a tire. I call that pneumatic gasket. And there's a reason for it because it's pneumatic, it's not solid. So when you put it on, you turn it on, you don't need to turn it really tight. You know, you just make sure you turn it so that everything's sealed. Right now, if it's sealed like so, and if you like, you can short it up a little bit. So make sure you put it here, and then I put in 1 minute, so I don't have to watch it. Normally, I know in this microwave with that water temperature I put in there, usually take a minute and 20 seconds. The key thing is you have to make sure you watch it. The first few times you do that, you make sure that they're not overboil. You, at some point, it's going to start boiling. As soon as you see it boiling to about the boiling level, get about 2 inches from the top, you shut it off. And this is very important. Why is it important? Because it's right enough headspace, the right amount of headspace to create a vacuum that we're talking about. All this is actually pretty precise for it. And I hope I can show you the forever boil. Otherwise, we can you can show that to a video that I send you because I cannot film that through the microwave.
yeah.
We do it the screen. I tried to do it last night, and everything is focused to the door instead of on inside. So, so now it did not quite work. You could add some time here. I had to be careful to don't hold the moisture. I keep watching. Okay, okay, it's gonna be up. Okay, I don't know if you can see this thing boiling like crazy. Keep boiling, right? And if I close the valve on top, you're gonna keep boiling for a while because the vacuum will develop. Okay, now you see that? You see the micro vacuum induced micro agitation? You see on the oak dancing in there? You see it?
That is so
You
cool.
see the oak dancing in there, and they're gonna be like that for a while until the that's why the oak can cook individually instead of together when you cook in a hot pan. And another very important thing here is the microwave create cook from the inside. So what happened? The energy of microwave shear cut out the envelopes, starch molecule. It was a long chain into small fragment. What happened into a small fragment? So when it cooled down, the shorter chain amylose molecule retrograde that recrystallize recrystallize into resistant starch more efficient and quicker. You don't have to cool it for so long. So now this thing is gonna sit, and then by the time we're done in around 20 minutes or so, it's gonna absorb all the liquid, and then it will become like this in the morning. In the morning, you come like this and ready for you to warm it up. If you eat something warm, or if you with yogurt, you can just open it up, stick some olive oil in it. Very important. This is the breakthrough to have olive oil with steel cut oatmeal. They're the perfect union. And then you can add, once you get the olive oil on, you can add whatever else you want to be on top of that. But now you need to add 1 teaspoon of chia seed in it, because the chia seed is essential to my formula. So I have the recipe. I send it to you with a QR code that I want the people who are interested and curious, and you should be, okay, and to at least to know about it.
Yeah.
I don't care whether you do it or not, but you should know about this.
I know. And Sean,
I insist.
you're very good at leading the horse to the water. It's just I have to drink. That's all. That's all it is. No, I appreciate you showing the demonstration there, because I know a ton of people are going to be like, Josh, like conceptually, I get it, but when you show it visually and just how stupid easy it is, it just made sense. But I appreciate, yeah, all the stuff that you sent me. I'll have superimposed on the screen. I'm going to show again right now for say the Ask Your Chatbot slide that you sent me, because one thing again I love about you, you love a good challenge and people to question you so that you can give your side and your research. And maybe one of these days, Tron, you and I should do a live Q&A just with you. I mean, it'll probably be emphasis on this kind of stuff. There's a lot of people in the audience who have questions for you about the floated, about the spunding valve. They'd love, I think
I'm gonna have
yeah.
no. I'm gonna have, as soon as I can have enough time. I'm gonna start something what I call every Saturday morning from 9 to 9:30. That I have something live stream called "Come Have Breakfast with Us." So then I can make breakfast and in my kitchen, and I eat my breakfast with you, making your things. So you can ask me the question what to do, what kind of thing to have to do for your kid. This is what I want you to do. You're gonna ask your kid, what do you want for your breakfast? And then depending on one of them will want this, one of them want that. And you make that in the morning, you add the stuff and give to them, and they're gonna eat what they love. But underneath that is still got the overnight oat 2.0. So they're gonna eat that and they feel really good. And then they're gonna change their life. Their feeling and the way they grow up will change from this simple breakfast that you have to have every morning. And I guarantee it's something good. Nothing gonna bad happen when you do this. Put chia seed in there. Make sure, because the cheese. Okay, show the slide with the anatomical drawing so that I can walk people through why this works so well.
It's up. It is ready for you.
Okay, you see that? I'm gonna see in writing because. Okay, so the then the metabolic blueprint of the digestive system. You see, when you first eat that thing in, the first phase is you feel the initial satiety. You eat something in your stomach, and then you sort of it's trigger make you it swell up, make you feel like you're full. Right, the initial immediate fullness, and then that mixture would travel through your small intestine. And because the stuff that we make have resistant starch, and that if we have resistant starch, it have extra virgin olive oil, and it has chia seed. By then, the chia seeds start swelling up, with the mucilage around it. So it travels you to in the small intestine, and the small intestine cannot digest it. So it's gonna keep going through the food is not digested by the small intestine. it goes to the latter part of your small intestine, and that's called Elysium. Elysium is the one-third section of the small intestine. And your system, nature over time designed the system where your intestine, the last part of your small intestine, send that there's some food value in here. That means we ain't observing yet. Nature designed so it create a breath. Everything we stop. Stop. We haven't eat all the food we go through yet. So let's slow things down so that we can digest or suck out all the nutrients from this food from the small intestine. In science, they call the Aleos bread. This is kind of weird word that I don't know pronounce. You have on the screen as the Aleo break that happens within 1 to 3 hours. Everything stops, and to slow down the digestion, the movement of food through your system, it produce at this phase, it's already produced GLP-1 and PYY hormone. Send to the brain and say, hey man, you're full. You don't eat any more stuff. Let's allow us time to digest the food. Send signal to your pancreas to create insulin to do all the things that make you feel full. That's in science called allele break. It's a scientific term. Now, after a while, this thing can start moving to your large intestine. And all the unprocessed food, undigested food, like now they become prebiotic, right? They are prebiotic. It move to your small intestine. And then your gut start, hey, more food for us. The those billion microbiome, they actually more bacteria in your gut than all the cell in your body. And there's unfathomable amount of variety of things that grow in there. It starts seeing food. So it starts charming it, fermenting, cut them up into short chain fatty acids. Those fatty acids gonna create that create GLP, continue to create GLP-1 and PYY hormone continuously, because the more it's fermentation process is it's not one time, right? It's continuous brewing beer. Take 3-4 days to brew a batch of beer. It takes several hours for the bacteria to grow. Every time produce the short chain fatty acid, it triggers the lining cell of your gut to produce GLP-1. So your body for the next 3, 4, 5, 6 hours have GLP-1 floating around your thing, make you feel full, send signal to your brain, and all the wonderful things that happen to you. So that's called the second meal effect, because it lasts so long. So now if you eat something, your body are ready to tackle it, even something is not healthy, right? Something full of sugar. I said, hey, I'm ready. You got something sweet at me. I got the insulin to knock it down. And so that how the thing works, and that it's so clear, so easy. So the key thing is we have to eat fibers. We have to eat healthy fat. We have to eat something that actually good for us, like chia seed. And you have to put some spices that actually have our inflammation and our antioxidant control our oxidative stress, something that bad for us. So those are the kind of thing that we can do ourselves, and if we do it early. And remember, we have to do it every day, because you don't eat a lot. You will eat just a quarter cup of secret oatmeal and take 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil. So you have to do it every day, just like if you have on Lipitor, the doctor tells you have to take this pill every day. You don't want to take once a week. So that's very important. And you're gonna have breakfast every day, right? And you're gonna feel really good, and you're gonna miss it. You're gonna look forward to it, right? So that's basically
John,
what I'm here.
I love it, man. And I know I want to respect your time, because I told you, because you were like, hey, it might be quick. And I said, whatever. And then look, I got you talking. We're almost at an hour and 20 minutes. It's my bad. No, you're good. No, you're good. That's on me. I love it. We could do a whole other episodes. And like I said, if people are watching, if you're at youtube.com/Homebrew Happy Hour and you have a question for Trong, leave it there in the comments. It'd be better if you called it into 325-305-6107 or be on the lookout. If you're on Facebook, Trong has a Homebrewer Lab group, I believe, that you can join. Because I think people, when you do launch your Saturday live stream, let me know so I can broadcast that out to people in our audience so that they can join you if they have questions. Because talking to you live is the best way to get your answers questioned. I can promise you that, anecdotally speaking. That's the best, is having direct access. I'm not going to give Trong's phone number out, but having your phone number is a valuable resource that I take advantage of. My friend, I appreciate your time.
Oh, I think that I encourage the home brewer crowd. You need yeast, so get yourself a yeast farmer. If nothing else, you can grow some yeast.
That's right.
To save some money. And if you want to make steel cut overnight up to boil, it's going to save your ass too.
I love it. Trong, my friend, thank you for doing the show. I can't wait to have you on again to talk about whatever amazing thing that you come up with.
Okay, well, good. Well, until next time when I talk to you, I expect you to be eating overnight up 2.0. And
Stout's honor, my friend. Stout's honor. All right, it's good seeing you, Trong. I'll talk to you later.
Okay, great. Bye-bye.